Thank you, Willis. And Willis and Wayne are right. Our Second Amendment freedom is under attack these days. From the Biden campaign, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and their gun control cronies in the media. But right here, right now, in this room, in this city of Tucson, our freedom is celebrated and on full display. And the reason we still have this great freedom is because patriots in every generation stand up and step forward. We commemorate them in our history books. We remember them in our hearts. From those who left their farms and fields to join the fight for our independence, to those who stormed the beaches at Normandy, the deserts in the Middle East, and every generation in between. When nothing less than freedom itself was on the line, they stood tall. And for 45 years, 3 generations of Americans like you have stood tall fighting alongside the National Rifle Association Institute for Legislative Action, and I could not be more proud to stand and fight with you. Thank you. I see young people in this crowd. I see parents and grandparents. I see generations of Americans walking in the footsteps of patriots past. But more importantly, I see the men and women who can lead us to victory this November, and the true leaders who will keep our country free for decades to come. Look to your right. Look to your left. You get back home tonight or to your hotel, look in the mirror. You're the reason America's still free. You're the reason this nation is still the greatest on earth. And you're the reason I believe with all my heart that we can win this election just 10 days from now and keep America great. Five years ago, in 2015, a fellow NRA member and businessman from New York named Donald Trump visited us at our annual meeting in Nashville. And he said, quote, "I promise you one thing, if I run for president and if I win, the Second Amendment will be totally protected. That I can tell you." One year later, 2016, then candidate Donald Trump came back to see us, this time in Louisville. And we officially endorsed him to be the next president of the United States. And he said, "I will not let you down. Remember that. I will not let you down." And he hasn't. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you and I and millions of NRA members across the country, we went to work. We knocked on doors. We passed out literature. We took to our emails and social media pages. We sacrificed our hard-earned dollars and pulled our resources together and ran some of the most effective and hard-hitting campaign ads in the history of our organization. And all the while, mainstream media, the Hollywood elite, they laughed at us. They told us Trump can't win. Same thing they're saying now. They said Hillary Clinton was such a lock to win the White House, we might as well not even hold an election. And folks, that was their fatal mistake, because the last thing you ever want to do is tell an NRA member to give up hope. You know what I know. It doesn't depress us. It doesn't deflate us or defeat us. It unites us. It makes us dig in, fight that much harder, sacrifice even more for the cause of freedom. That's what the gun control media doesn't get. It's not a game for us. Politics isn't a hobby or a sport, even though that's the way they cover it. It's our freedom at stake in every election, in every Congress, and we take that damn seriously. We won't live on our knees, begging tyrants like Michael Bloomberg or Joe Biden for permission to bear arms and defend ourselves. The only knee we take is the same one General Washington took at Valley Forge, and I guarantee you he wasn't genuflecting to King George. Our enemies want the NRA divided and canceled because they know what happens when we unite behind a fight. We win. We end political careers, just like we ended crooked Hillary's. Yeah. We elect pro-gun, pro-freedom champions, just like President Donald Trump. Just look at what we've done for freedom in the past 3.5 years with the support of a president who shares our unshakable faith in this country and our Constitution. Thanks to President Trump, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, we've transformed the federal judiciary with judges that respect and value the Second Amendment. Right here, we're even revamping the notorious Ninth Circuit. In fact, just 2 months ago, a Trump appointee on the Ninth Circuit invalidated California's ban on magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. It sure as heck isn't anything many of us thought possible 4 years ago. And look at the Supreme Court of the United States, as Wayne said, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and soon, dare I say, God willing, Amy Coney Barrett on Monday night. Over 200 pro-freedom, pro-Second Amendment judicial nominations and confirmations to the federal courts around the country. Over 200. Folks, a record number in record time. In fact, it was at the NRA's annual meeting in Indianapolis last year that President Trump officially unsigned the UN Arms Trade Treaty. Yep. With a single stroke of his pen, the president affirmed not only our Second Amendment rights, but our sovereign right as a free nation to govern ourselves. And when the pandemic hit, President Trump and the NRA worked around the clock to make sure gun shops, manufacturers, and dealers were deemed essential businesses so they could remain open, because your right to defend yourself is essential, especially during a time of crisis and unrest. Thanks to you. And thanks to you, I'm proud to say ILA's grassroots army has personally contacted over 10 million voters this year to help re-elect President Trump so we can keep chalking up pro-gun victories. Helping elect presidents, senators, representatives, governors, helping confirm judges. These are fights that get front-page headlines. But every single day, your Institute for Legislative Action is on the front lines of major battles in Congress, in all 50 state legislatures, and in the courts. NRA members that you may never see, meet, or hear fight for freedom every day. And the fight for freedom is never ending. It's a journey. It is not a destination. Our anti-gun enemies attack us from every single angle, every day of the year. And they attack us because the NRA is the cornerstone that fortifies the wall of freedom. And that you in this room, by supporting NRA, are the bricks in that wall that stand between them and our Second Amendment. Let me give you just a few examples. Last year, when Nancy Pelosi and the left rammed Bloomberg-backed gun control bills through the House, it was your calls, your letters, and your emails that shut those bills down in the United States Senate. And this year, we had our first real shot in a decade at getting the Supreme Court to act on a gun case. New York State Rifle and Pistol Association and the NRA teamed up to challenge New York City's oppressive gun control regime. But the city ended up throwing in the towel once we got to the Supreme Court. They knew they were going to lose. And while we didn't get the ruling we'd hoped for, we're going to keep fighting until we get our rights fully restored. Some lower courts continue to treat the Second Amendment as a second-class right. But as I mentioned earlier, our work to change the federal judiciary is starting to deliver decisions that fully protect Second Amendment rights. And our work in the courts is also extended to defeating Bloomberg in the states. We've had great success in keeping confusing and downright misleading gun control initiatives and referendums off the ballot. This year alone, we had successful challenges to gun ban initiatives in Oregon and Florida. And because of that work, for the first time since 2012, there's not a single gun control initiative on the ballot in 2020. We also continue to battle with Bloomberg and state legislatures around the country. When anti-gun mayors and governors attempted to use the coronavirus as a poor excuse to attack lawful gun owners and firearms businesses, ILA fought to keep those gun stores and shooting ranges open. With gun stores open throughout most of the country, and sadly, calls to defund the police, we saw an unprecedented spike in gun sales. Some estimates indicating more than 6 million Americans became new gun owners, and many new NRA members. I'm proud of our efforts to protect these rights. I look forward to these new gun owners joining us in the fight to protect our rights in the future. Because we need as many freedom-loving members as possible, since billionaires like Michael Bloomberg and George Soros can tip the money scales out of favor by stroking a single check for millions of dollars. And the anti-gun media outlets, they put billions of dollars worth of dishonest propaganda toward beating the NRA and destroying our freedom. But still, we prevail. We prevail because of you. Because you sacrifice your time and your hard-earned dollars for the cause that we hold so dear. And make no mistake, every single victory we earn, from electing President Trump to defeating a gun ban in a state like Delaware to stopping a ballot initiative in a state like Maine, every one of those victories belong to you. Without you, none of them are possible. Without you, none of us at the NRA have the strength to fight like we do, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So from everybody at ILA, truly, I say thank you. And every American who cares about this freedom in our nation owes you the same debt of gratitude. My friends, in just 10 days, our nation will either re-elect the most outspoken, unapologetic, pro-Second Amendment president we've ever had, or elect the most outspoken, unapologetic, anti-Second Amendment candidate who's ever run for the White House. Think about it. When Barack Obama ran in 2008, he ran on the promise to protect our Second Amendment rights. We all know he was lying. We knew it. And he proved us right. When he campaigned, he swore up and down he wouldn't touch our freedom. The same was said, same was true. Hillary Clinton, John Kerry. They posed in duck blinds. Right? In their brand new camo that was worn only once for a photo op. Tried their best to sucker gun owners like you and me into believing they cared about our rights. This time, though, it's different. This time, they're not lying. They're actually bragging. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are running and campaigning on the promise to destroy the Second Amendment, even if Joe's not sure which office he's running for or who he's running against that day. Biden has 8 pages on his website, 8 pages dedicated to gun control, and is promising to ban the manufacture and sale of the most popular rifles in America. Semi-automatic rifles, other firearms, pistols, shotguns, that millions of Americans rely on to protect their homes and their loved ones. And he won't stop there. If you already own a semi-automatic rifle, Biden and Harris will force you to register your firearm with the federal government, pay a tax, get a license. And if you refuse, they'll institute a mandatory gun buyback. You and I call it confiscation. It's government tyranny at its worst. And still, it doesn't end there. He wants to ban magazines and limit how much ammunition you're allowed to purchase. He wants to pack the court. And make no mistake, a plan to pack the court is a plan to destroy the court and the Second Amendment. He wants to repeal the Protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act so that anti-gun groups can file predatory lawsuits against gun manufacturers, bankrupt them, drive them out of business. He wants to ban you from purchasing more than one gun a month. He wants to criminalize the private transfer of firearms. He wants to spend your tax dollars strong-arming states into enacting restrictive gun licensing schemes. He wants the federal government to peer into your home and your gun safe to monitor how you keep and store your personal property. And all the while, he's guarded by 24-hour taxpayer-funded law enforcement with the same guns and ammo he wants to ban and confiscate from you and me. That's the definition of hypocrisy. We've learned a lot from our anti-gun enemies these past several months. They sent a public message to everyone across this great nation. Surrender to us. Bow to our demands or we'll destroy you. Get out of our way or we'll abuse our power to crush you. We don't care about the law. We don't care about due process. Our republic be damned. That's their message. Well, I've got a message for them. We have a basic fundamental right to defend ourselves and our loved ones against anybody and anything that attempts to harm us. And it's firearms that breathe life into this fundamental right. It's a right endowed to us by our Creator, a right that doesn't see color of skin or ethnicity, or creed or sex or age or size or weight. The Second Amendment doesn't undermine equal protection, it guarantees it. For nearly 150 years, the National Rifle Association of America has faced down anti-gun politicians from the White House to the State House. We're not going anywhere. They can bloody us, but we'll remain unbroken, unbowed, and unyielding in our unapologetic defense of our fundamental individual God-given freedoms. And whether that fight takes us to the halls of Congress or ballot boxes across America, we'll be there. You can count on it. If George Washington and his men could cross the Delaware on that cold, snowy Christmas night in 1776, hungry, tired, beaten down, marching for freedom and leaving a trail of bloody footprints in the snow from Pennsylvania to Trenton, then you bet NRA members can lead millions of gun owners to the polls on November 3rd to cast our votes. Cast our votes to re-elect President Trump and protect that very same freedom. We will never, ever roll over and let anyone destroy the greatest, freest nation mankind has ever known. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless this great association. Thank you.